Welcome to the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show, where we have a star-studded lineup for tonight's show. We got all-time leading kick returner in what? The NCAA?
I believe he is
number 2.
I believe he's number 2 now, but you know,
in the history of the NCAA, Derek Abney will be joining us in our first segment. And we'll also have Trevor Kelsey, a.k.a. Bacon, the co-host of the Freak Show with John Renshaw on 1450 AM in Louisville from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
The best sports station in Louisville, 1450 AM.
It is. It really is. It's got the Yahoo Sports, which is, I love Steve Zabin in the morning, and I love
Dan Patrick.
Dan Patrick, definitely, and the afternoon sports buzz and everything. But first, we got a couple exciting football games we got to cover. We got the Kentucky-South Carolina game.
Barn burner.
I missed what Steve Spurrier said, I'll be honest. What did Steve Spurrier say, John? Tyler?
John?
He basically said that they could have scored 70-80 if they were on their A game. He was laughing after just how easy of a game it was. He seemed to say that, almost act like he didn't care how high the score was. I mean, if you saw the game, Spurrier definitely wanted to see how high they could score. It wasn't stopping.
They wanted to kill Kentucky. Kentucky beat Spurrier for the first time ever last year. Marcus Lattimore got hurt in the first half. Going into the second half, that's the only reason Kentucky did win, and I will say that. And he wanted to kill him. But luckily, as he also said, Kentucky has a great punter.
Yeah, he did say that.
I think Kentucky's had 96 total yards on offense.
96.
South Carolina had 650.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. Right. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's just tough SEC, week in, week out. It's third top 10 team in a row, John. I mean, when you're playing Marshall and then FIU, it's, losing to them, it's a little bit different. But
we're not focusing on Louisville right now. We're focusing on Kentucky, Tyler.
I don't want to.
One thing I've noticed is Steve Spurrier, based on everything I've heard behind the scenes, man, that guy is a prick. He is a great coach, and if he wanted to coach Louisville football, although I'm very happy with Charlie Strong, and I don't want to get rid of Charlie Strong by any stretch, but at certain points I would have taken Spurrier and been happy with him. I don't mind somebody like that. But, man, he does not put the brakes on anybody. He is a competitor if there's ever been one, and he does not worry about whether he pisses somebody off or not.
Spurrier is such a prick. If Louisville offered him, he would probably come out publicly and say why he doesn't want to, and it'd be a prick move. He thinks he has to be the best of best. I don't even know why he took South Carolina. Honestly,
pretty good recruiting base.
Obviously it's a great football program. That's why he went there. But I think he feels like he should be at the top program every year. But
has he underperformed since he's been with South Carolina? I think
so.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to say he has.
Absolutely.
Or he just lost it when he left for the NFL.
Is Steve Spurrier's performance, and this is getting off topic, at South Carolina comparable to Rick Pitino's at Louisville?
What, a buzz? No, Rick Pitino's better than Steve Spurrier. Rick Pitino's made one Final Four and some other Elite Eight or something like that. So what's Steve Spurrier really done? He hasn't won a BCS bowl game yet.
No, he's underperformed, I think, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No question.
I mean, definitely I think people thought when he came to South Carolina it was definitely going to be a lot better than it has been. It seems like he's turned it around a little bit.
Steven Garcia just got kicked off the team for his 5th suspension.
It was and he didn't miss one game, not one game, and he finally gets kicked off the team.
Well,
interesting situation.
Was suspended 5 times. And this was for alcohol. He got kicked off because he tested positive for alcohol and marijuana in his system, and that was part of his agreement to be reinstated from his previous suspension.
And marijuana is illegal. Next, we got the Louisville-North Carolina game, where Louisville hung with them in the first half. Actually played some pretty good defense. I saw a stat, I believe, at halftime, or at one point in the first half, Louisville had, I think, 10 first downs compared to North Carolina's 1.
Well, we pretty much had the ball the whole first half. I mean, North Carolina was 3 and out. We were getting down the field, but penalties. And just that was the thing about that game. I can deal with the team being young, but the undisciplined play, it's just unacceptable. You can't say that you're going to have a great team anytime when it's undisciplined like it was. And that was the thing that hurt. I didn't think that we were going to win, but I thought we would come in there and be a lot better disciplined than we were.
It was a very interesting game how at the last minute, guys like Victor Anderson, Adrian Bushell, who else? Some defensive linemen. You had a guy like Marcus Smith kind of step up. I won't say out of nowhere, but almost out of nowhere, and just have a huge game. Louisville didn't have a lot of their starters. Very interesting week in how they just out of nowhere, a lot of the guys weren't able to play.
Well, I mean, a lot of them were. I don't know if you heard what Charlie Strong said, but he said that, like Bushell and several of the other ones, they didn't practice well the whole week. And he told them, if you don't practice well, I'm not going to play you. And here's the thing is that the 2 plays that North Carolina scored on were passes to the freshman cornerback who wouldn't have been there if Bushell would have been there.
Bushell is as talented as defender as we have.
Absolutely. He came in and he's stepped up. He starts. He's been an amazing defender. But if he's not going to practice, Charlie Strong's not going to play him.
It's just amazing to me.
I think if we would have had Bushell, one of those touchdowns would have been there. It would have definitely been down to the wire situation where we would have had some momentum maybe. And we might have been able to win.
It's difficult to quantify the presence of a cornerback because, they don't run or they don't necessarily make a bunch of tackles, although Bushell does make tackles. But, yeah, having a cornerback of Adrian's talent level would have certainly, you got to say, impacted the game one way or the other.
Absolutely. But hopefully, coming into Cincinnati this week, we'll have everybody, a lot of the people that were hurt, they will be there. So hopefully it will be a change, for the better, and hopefully it was a better week of practice.
I hope so. We get the keg of nails. And if we can win our rivalry games and then go into, conference play and play well, Louisville could end up doing pretty well this year. So,
at least as a fan, I would feel better if we had all our rivalry games. We had the UK one, we got that cup. Now we need to go get the keg and nails. If we had that, I would call it a successful season.
Gotta say, especially if they can knock off a couple Big East games that maybe they're not suspected to win.
The Big East is open, though. Anybody can win the Big. It's not that good a conference this year, so anybody can win it. West Virginia seems to be the best team. Rutgers has played well lately, but
South Florida.
South Florida, that's going to be a hard one. Our last game is going to be South Florida, at South Florida. That's going to be a tough one, but I still think it's wide open. The talent level compared to, years past, maybe it's not there. So I definitely think it's open compared to the other years. The one thing that I was thinking, though, this week is how does a Kentucky recruit, Matt, you can answer this, look at being beaten by South Carolina, and and want to come to Kentucky. Maybe would you take a lesser conference as a recruit so you don't get beat by 50 points a game?
I think they see that game and say, I have these skills, I have these abilities, I can help this team. Now again, they could go to another team and actually go and probably play and actually win a lot of games, but I think in some recruits' minds, they're thinking, if I'm on this team, I'm going to start, I'm going to play, and I can actually help this team. I'm a Kentucky fan, or if they're out of state, if they're not a Kentucky fan, they can still, in their mind, they're still thinking, well, I'm definitely going to be able to help this cause out.
I mean,
that's my opinion.
I would think that it would be harder to rebuild a team like Joker's trying to do, because Charlie Strong and Joker in the same. I mean, Joker doesn't have to fix it as much as
Joker's recruited every guy that's on the team right now. Joker's been a part of the recruiting.
Absolutely. So, but I'm just saying, isn't it harder to try to get Kentucky to the next level compared to Louisville when you're in the SEC and you're getting beaten by 50 points a game?
Yeah, it's definitely easier to have an uptick in the program and build some positive momentum when you're able to win some games. Certainly.
And even just getting since Charlie Strong's been here, I think totally in the 9 games that he's lost, they've lost by 69 points total. So it's almost 8 points a game that they've lost first. Compared, in the past 2 games for Kentucky, they've lost by 79 points. I mean, there's a big difference.
It's an interesting stat. Yeah, it's tough being in the SEC, and it makes me, as a Louisville fan, with all this conference realignment talk, kind of appreciate the current state of the Big East and how if they were able to keep that automatic qualifier status by bringing in it, I said earlier, a Boise. You guys didn't seem to think that would happen. But if they were somehow able to keep the automatic qualifier status as a conference, the Big East is, as far as trying to, make some noise in college football, as good of a conference opportunity for Louisville as there is.
I personally, right now, I would say if Louisville wants to continue to grow as much as it is, it would stay where it's at. If it goes to the Big 12, it's going to struggle for several years, at least in football.
Louisville could lose by 30 points to Texas.
Right.
Any given year.
Absolutely. Where the program is now. Now, is Charlie Strong getting them to that level?
Yeah, it could change. Louisville could beat Texas one day.
But I think when you get Cragthorpe like we did, it's hard to come back from that. It is hard to come back when, your coach doesn't recruit he recruited like 2 offensive linemen since he was here. So
he did those JUCO transfers.
Yeah, so it's hard to build a team off that. You're coming in, you're giving people who are red shirts. Charlie Strong had to give them scholarships just so they would stay on the team. So it's a hard situation for Charlie Strong that he's in. But at the same time, like I said, hopefully he can get the discipline part down. We're like 104th in penalties. I mean, you're not going to win games when you have,
when you're starting a defensive tackle on the a freshman defensive tackle on the offensive line, for example, and there are other examples. Marcus Smith was a quarterback in high school. I mean, there's a lot of those examples of this is I hate to say it, but in a way, it's kind of a rebuilding year, and a lot of guys are getting some great experience, hopefully especially on the offensive line, but really poising them to be able to have a great year next year. We are going to go to a break, and we will be back with Derek Abney, the all-time great University of Kentucky wide receiver and kick and punt returner. We'll be right back. I'm Kelly Patrick with KentuckySports.co radio show in partnership with LouisvilleSportsBuzz.com. Around here, we've got Big Blue Nation, big races at the horse tracks, big rivalries. We've got big arenas with big-name coaches. Being realistic, a lot of times we end up with big women. But there are some things that we prefer to be smaller, like the price we pay at local restaurants, or what it costs to play 18 holes, or to even have your hair cut. At LouisvilleBigDeals.com, you'll get a big deal and a small price to some of the best restaurants and businesses in the Louisville area. So jump online and visit LouisvilleBigDeals.com and tell them Kelly Patrick sent you.
KentuckySports.co radio show, your #1 source for sports news and information. All UK sports, UofL.
With KentuckySports.co radio show in partnership with LouisvilleSportsBuzz.com. Welcome back to the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We got our special guest, Derek Abney, on tonight. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be on the show, guys.
Great. We'll jump right into. You had mentioned that you made it to the Kentucky game last week. It was a disappointing loss.
Yes.
But did you take anything positive from the game?
Well, if you don't know, I live here down in Charleston, South Carolina. So we've been here for 2 of the home games, and I've been to both. And unfortunately, this last one was very difficult to swallow. I got to speak with Tommy Cook, who's a GA on the team. He played with me. He was a receiver 1 year under me. And I talked with him a little bit about the game. And like most, he's been kind of searching for answers. He's a receiver coach. He helps out with the special teams. And, I think the defense has been playing relatively well till this last game. But at the same time, I think at some point, you bang your head up against the wall enough trying to do your best and know maybe the other side of the ball isn't really effectively doing their job, and it's hard to really to sustain a whole game in the SEC. And so it was a little bit of a letdown on defense, but obviously the worst part was the offense and just kind of the lack of production and any attempt to run or to pass. So to answer your question, it's hard to take much from it. I think Ryan did another good job punting for the most part, I think. But overall, it was very disappointing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, we appreciate you coming on. Part of the reason we do this is because we want to reach out to a lot of past players, kind of what we call a "Where Are They Now" type segment. And again, we know everybody knows who you were when you were at UK, but kind of break down your career from when you went to UK and then on, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I graduated in 2003. That was my last season. I was there from 99 to 2003. And I got drafted by the Ravens in the 7th round to be their kick returner. Well, my first game was against the Falcons. It was a preseason game, and Glenn Packlack was the punter for them. And my first play of the game was a kick return after halftime. And I proceeded to dislocate my left shoulder. But so I had not missed a high school game and played in every college game. I got hurt in the Georgia game, 2 games in from the end of my season. So played every single game and, of course, get hurt in my first play of my NFL career. Played the rest of that game, but made it. It just wasn't effective to make it through the season, so they put me on the injured reserve that year. The following year, they let me go. They had a guy that ran 2 kicks back that year, so they had found their kick returner. Let me go. I went to the Bears, and then shortly thereafter, I think I was on there with them for 3 weeks in the preseason, then went to the Lions. And I really needed. Fortunately, I didn't get surgery on my shoulder. I think looking back, I should have. And so when that really didn't work out for me, I had to get my shoulder fixed because it wasn't going to be effective enough for me to play football. So I had to let football go in 2005, 2006. And then fortunately met my wife when I got hurt. And we married in 2006. And moved from Baltimore to Louisville for 6 months. I told her, give me 6 months. You'll absolutely love it. And 6 months couldn't come fast enough for her. So even she bleeds blue, I guess. I don't know. And so we ended up going to Charleston. That's where I am now. And I'm doing civil engineering work I've done for working on starting in my 5th year. So that's kind of a synopsis from since I was done with football.
Well, that's great. A lot of people don't get to hear that type of stuff where they go after they get out of college. So we do appreciate you sharing that with us. And I know that a lot of people online and even myself, a lot of times when you were coming out, you were considered almost to be an identical player to maybe like a Wes Welker type player. Mm-hmm. And I know he was kind of coming out at the same time as you as far as that goes. And like I said, I was reading forums and boards and stuff about comparing you to him. Do you consider yourself kind of a similar player?
I think so. I think Wes actually, he was a little bit bigger than I was, but he was a tough player, and that's what I prided myself on, was being a tough player, and I'm an instinctual player, and I think, it's a testament to him how well he's done, and I think, he took advantages of his opportunity. In the NFL, it really is being in the right place at the right time, and nothing to take away from him. But the cards weren't right for me, and that's just how it worked out for me. Fortunately, I got my degree, and I'm in a great place right now, and it's worked out for the best. But definitely, it would be an honor really to be compared to him in my game.
Definitely, and like I said, every UK fan out there really thinks of you as one of their favorite players ever. Actually, I'm on the show right now. I'm showing your punt return from the Mississippi State game. Your record tying 8th. Was it right? Your 8th?
Yes, that's correct. Yep, that was my 8th at home against Mississippi State, and with everybody kind of pushing me in, so I don't think it could have gotten any better to have a record-breaking return. And remember it like yesterday. It was a fantastic feeling for me.
Yeah, you can see
to be a part of that.
You can see so much excitement in everyone's eyes, and I was actually at that game, so I remember it very fondly. But that was great. We were looking it up, and we saw that you actually you tied the record right in the NCAA.
That's right,
for the most, and then we saw that recently. What was it? Larry Beavers from Wesley College they had 13 total, but when you're playing in the SEC, you can't really compare that. So
Wesley College, what is that? What, D1A or what is that?
I'm not sure.
No way that's D1. No way that's D1, right?
That's why we're saying it doesn't matter. You still hold the record.
I think it's a barber college, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
still got that, right, guys?
Still got that.
So you are the Division I touchdown return record holder. Is that accurate?
Tied.
Yeah, I am tied for the most career special teams returns, kickoff and punt returns combined with 8. Also, and I may have this wrong, but I was unaware of anyone that has, like we said in Division 1A, to have a kick, a catch, a punt for touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
As well. And I did that at Florida on CBS. That was probably my best game.
Oh, that was in one game. I remember that game.
Yes, in one game.
That's right.
That was in 2000. When was that?
2.
It was at Florida, 2002.
2002.
My junior year when we were on sanctions. And I ran that one back. All my friends back in Wisconsin where I grew up got to see it because it was on CBS, and had a kick, like I said, a catch and a punt. And really, it was one of my that kick return was really probably the most motivated time I had been as a football player. And I say that because I distinctly remember when I was done, I put the football down in the end zone, and I put up 2 fingers because that's how many touchdowns we needed to get back into this game. We were just playing awful. So it was really kind of a unique moment that when I got the football, I just felt like I knew that we were going to score a touchdown. And really, I think that was probably just from that motivation and that confidence to get in the end zone. That was one of the plays that I remember as my most motivated.
Was that the 101 yarder? Is that?
Yeah, that's it right there. If you see, someone, I've thanked them. 2 different people have put up 2 of my touchdowns. Don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I've sent them emails thanking them each once. Never got a reply, but that one is one of the 2 that are probably one of my best are up there, and that was the 101 yard kickoff return. That's correct.
You mean they'd put them on YouTube or something?
Yeah, that's the one I actually played. I played
put it up on YouTube. There's 2 of my plays on YouTube, and only 2. And 2 different people I don't know. And like I said, I think them, never got a reply. But that's how they got up there. And I really need to do something about that. I need to put some of my own up there.
You should.
On my account. Technology has moved forward. I think I can catch up at least,
we should do that for you.
But that was one of my best ones, and just happens to be up there.
Yeah, well, that's one we played. Your Mississippi State one we have. Actually, that's from the YouTube we played on the show just now. So
that's right.
So that's great stuff, man.
So what do you do now? I mean, when you're a football player or any type of player and you play as much as you did, how do you stay competitive? You still have that in you, I'm sure. So what do you do now to stay competitive?
Well, my big hobby is basketball reffing, and it's kind of interesting because with me and two other refs, it's kind of our own little team, and we really kind of click together and have our own responsibilities, just like a football game. And so that's kind of what I do as my competitive fire and stuff. And I also play a lot of basketball until this last August when I dislocated my ankle playing basketball. But those are the two big things. My big one is refereeing high school basketball.
It's great, Derek. We really do appreciate you coming on. We got actually a hard break here, and we do. It's great to talk to you. Like I said, the fans really wanted to hear from you and see you.
Anytime, absolutely, guys. I enjoyed it immensely.
Tell Chris Bernard I said he's ugly.
I'll pass that along for you, Matt.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one, Derek.
Thank you.
You too.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Couldn't be a nicer guy. Wow. And couldn't have been more of a. I'm a Cards fan, but I'll be honest. When watching the Kentucky games at that time, there's nothing more exciting than somebody bringing one to the house. And when he was on the field, there was nothing more exciting than watching that.
Absolutely. I mean, any game like that, it's one of those moments that it doesn't happen very often. You want to watch it. It doesn't matter who you're a fan for.
No,
you want to. It's part of sports history.
I mean, that was electric when he was on the field. In that era, it was just insane.
Just like Devin Hester.
See the
ball go back. They should just rename the rule the Derek Abney rule, where the extra 10 yards so nobody can kick it back, take the kick back. I mean,
well, might as well. I mean, he deserves it as much as anybody because he took over every game that I saw.
Sure. Well, we're going to head out to a quick break here, but before we do that, we're actually going to give you a little Terrence Jones rap, if you know what I mean.
Worst rap and worst musical performance ever.
No,
better than Luke Whitehead.
Hey, we're still on. We're just jamming right now.
This is so horrible.
Are we on? We're on?
We're just jamming right now.
This disgraces Derek.
See, this isn't even him right here. Skip to him. No.
A minute.
He's minute 10. Minute 10, I believe.
Coming up right now.
Minute 10.
It's like 1:30.
Maybe it's 1:30.
Just let it play through.
Right now, y'all about to get lucky. The real T. Jones about to teach you about Kentucky. Left or right?
John's dancing.
Left or right? Does he go right?
He does.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Pretty sure the scouting report is sports knowledge.
He did. Remember that dunking at South Carolina? He crossed a dude? Don't. That's because you're not a sports fan.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break here. Leading out with this, I just wanted to play that because I like it and everyone else thinks it's awful. We'll be right back with the KentuckySports.co radio show. Next time we're going to have, next segment is Trevor Kelsey, correct?
Yep, Bacon will be with us right when we get back from the break here. Get ready.
Do it.
Welcome back to the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We got Trevor Kelsey, a.k.a. Bacon, on the line with us. How you doing tonight, Bacon?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. Got some.
I do got to say something, though. I was watching y'all before you went off and talking about Terrence Jones rap, and one of y'all referred, I don't remember which one, referred to it being better, at least, than Luke Whitehead's rap song. Now, come on.
Hey,
Luke Whitehead wearing the red Louisville Cardinal from The Day That I'm Dead. I mean, that's just classic lines. That's like Little Wayne cries here.
It's genius.
It's not bad, but I guarantee you Terrence Jones's one video has more hits on YouTube than all 3 CDs of Luke Whitehead. He's a disaster.
Oh, yes. And in fact, when I found the Terrence Jones, somebody texted me that the other day, like, you got to go to YouTube. Check this out. I went there. It was at 112 hits. The next morning at 9 a.m., I went on there again to check it to record the audio, and it was over 10,000.
Jeez.
I mean, that just... And a funny story, you mentioned the Whitehead CD in the cell. I used to work at a store in the mall called Cardboard Heroes. It's a sports store. Worked there for 5 years. And when Whitehead CD came out, we had him come in for that CD to promote it. He was there for 2.5 hours. We sold 2 CDs. When I left there 3 years later, we had about 40 or 50 of them left. We used to take them out back and use target practice with BB guns for them for fun. Me and the rest of the boys, we'd just get real baked and drunk and go out and just shoot them at like geeks. It was hilarious.
Now, I've gone into Cardboard Heroes a few times, and I always see Louisville gear 50% off. Why can't I ever get Kentucky gear 50% off?
It sells. I wish I could say it differently, but it sells more than Louisville shit.
That's all.
That's just how it is, and you're going to see a lot of Ohio State stuff. That company's mainly based out of Columbus. That's why you're going to see so much Archie Griffin.
There's a lot of Cleveland and Cincinnati things too.
Yeah, they're based out of. I worked there for 5 years. I was a shift supervisor there. I loved it. Still going there and get my discount, and but they're based. They have, I think, 7 stores in Ohio and just 2 in Kentucky. So they show a lot of Ohio State stuff down here. In fact, David Fulcher, who used to be safety, he was starting safety on the '88 Bengals team. He was the manager of one of their stores when I was there.
Wow, played in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And again, we got John.
He did. He was on that team.
We got Trevor Kelsey on the line. You're the producer / host / everything guy for 1450.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. And I was actually listening to your show today. John Renshaw is the most hilarious guy I've ever met in my life.
He is. He's the. I grew up listening to. He's one of the, actually. I've told him this, which is the biggest mistake I ever made in business. Is I told him he was one of the reasons why I wanted to be in this business. I used to listen to him and Arnie Spanier, Papa Joe Cervai, rest of the RIP for him, and he passed away last year. I grew up listening to them on one-on-one sports out of Chicago, and that's what got me wanting to be in this business. And of course, I told him that one night, and he has never let me live that down still to this day. But I do love Johnny. He is in a league of his own, so to speak.
I tweeted that to him during your show.
Hey, why do I get on video, guys? You got Abney on video. Do y'all not want to see my mug on here or something?
Hey, we actually told the producer, Matt, over here, we should have you on video, but he wasn't agreeing with it for some reason.
Well, apparently not.
It's
Skype
probably good, because I was hitting the ball between y'all's questions. It's probably a good thing. You all don't have me on video. I don't need to be put any legal evidence on the air.
Oh, yeah. So how is working with Renshaw?
It's awesome. It is an adventure. He is just. You think he's crazy on the air? He's twice as crazy off the air. All the stories he tells are completely true. I mean, you've listened today. We told a story about the downtown trip, and I mean, he talks the first 30 minutes of yesterday. We talked about peanut sizes for some reason. I mean, he's an SEC worst nightmare, but he's just, I think, great radio, and he's been doing it for so long. He is literally a legend in the game.
I have to agree with him, though. Y'all were talking about what you call your grandma, and you call her grandmother. And I tweeted that to him. I was like, because he had said something ridiculous about how he got real, almost like mad on the air about how you call your grandmother. Because almost everybody has their own names, the Mama or Meemaw or
Nana.
Nana, there you go. And apparently Trevor calls her Grandma.
Yeah, I used to do Grandmommy, as I told us earlier. She's called Grandmommy. She didn't like that. So as soon as I got old enough, I had to start calling her Grandmother. And it's been Grandmother ever since.
That's good stuff.
So your show started, this past Monday, right?
Yeah. We just started. The Renshaw show was just 3 to 5. Monday through Friday on 1450 Sports Buzz. You can also stream it on the website at 1450 Sports Buzz. And, we'll be on there, followed by the afternoon Sports Buzz. We've got, of course, the Yahoo lineup the rest of the day at the moment. We're going to be carrying NFL and NCAA games starting a week from this, not this weekend, but the next weekend. We're kicking off with some Michigan State at Wisconsin. We'll be doing the 1 and 4 o'clock doubleheader games on Sunday on the station. We've got some other local stuff hopefully in the mix coming in. And we're just taking over, really. I mean, we've got a couple of these other stations kind of teetering back. They're threatened a little bit. I know they are, and they rightfully should be.
They should be. When in the morning you get to listen to Yahoo, what they got. I mean, not that anything against the other.
Oh, I hate Cal Cowherd. I cannot stand Cowherd, and I don't like Jim Rome. I
hate Jim Rome too.
I would rather wear a UK jersey than listen to Cal Cowherd. That's how much I freaking hate that guy.
Steve Zabin is great, and the guests that they have on. I mean, you're talking fantasy football, anything that's relevant and national and great. I mean, they've got it, and they've got a great lineup to do it, and it's just great stuff. It really is.
It is Dan Patrick. We do Dan Patrick, which I love, 9 to 12, and I love Sean Pendergast and the Cowper Nation is awesome. If you ever had a chance to listen to his show between 1 and 3, I mean, he's underrated. He got on this business actually winning the Smack Off Awards through Jim Rome's show. Remember that back in the day?
I remember that the most extended out award show ever.
They do that every year.
Yeah.
I hate.
He won 5 straight. He got a radio show out of it. So
you know who else got one? Is that Fox Sports guy? What's his name? He's got his own show based out of L.A. He was a stockbroker in New York.
JT the Brick.
JT the Brick. Yeah, he's done real well.
Yeah, he's another. And Travis Rogers, who actually comes on from 4. Well, he doesn't anymore, but yeah, they offer Travis Rogers from 4 to 7 on their national network. He was the former producer of Jim Rome, so he's kind of like a Bill Walsh type tree going on in the radio sports industry. It seems he's been in the business a while. I mean, you can think it's been a long time since Jim Everett punked him out on national television.
That's great. Can we get that video going, Matt?
What?
Jim Everett.
Oh, the Chris Everett? Oh, it's awesome.
Chrissy.
That's classic stuff.
That is. It doesn't get any.
I'm not quick on the feet like Trevor here, so I don't have that pulled up.
You also another good one is the Frank, the guy that does the impressions.
Caliendo.
Frank something. It's on the. Yeah, he does a great joke on from a few years back. He does a great Jim Rome.
He does a great Jim Rome.
Completely in syllables.
One thing I was wondering was, with the news released today, right, that Pat Forty is leaving ESPN, is he going to be more part of 1450 now that you have Yahoo and that correlation going on?
So he's going to be affiliated mostly with the website, which obviously is beating out ESPN as is. They get more hits than ESPN as they have for the last almost over a year now, and rightfully so. I mean, Charles Robinson for their football side has been breaking stories left and right, and they do a great job with Adrian Wojnarowski doing basketball. They cover it right. And he's going to be one of the reasons for supposedly he's leaving is to write for them only is because he's just tired of the kind of the strain and grip that ESPN has on their writers. I mean, it's something he's been made fun of for by. I mean, Matt Jones has made fun of him for it, and other people publicly in this area have made fun of him for it for not being real outgoing with everything. Remember the Courier Journal? He went after the stories. I mean, he got in trouble a little bit, I guess, and obviously was suspended for going after Louisville and how he got some information, but he went after them and broke that story, and ESPN doesn't allow that. I mean, they're kind of like they're the Fox News of sports, and unfortunately, but they have a cornerstone on the TV market, so that they're always going to be number one. But in terms of internet and investigating reporting, they're far behind, especially Yahoo and even I think CBS Sports with my boy Jeff Goodman and Gary Parrish and them.
Yeah, Kentucky fans don't like to they selectively forget that when 40 was with the Courier Journal, he did go after Louisville.
Yeah, he got a hold of some information that he wasn't allowed to, and he went public with it, so he made a little mistake there. But yeah, he brought out that some problems that Louisville was doing a little bit, and he went after him and got it. And I think UK fans would love him, but he's friends with Pitino. So, and of course, no UK fans don't like anybody who likes Pitino. I mean, it's obvious. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either if I was a Kentucky
I like
fan,
Karen
probably,
Cipher.
Like who?
Karen Cipher. She liked Pitino.
I don't blame Karen Cipher. I don't do it a joke.
She wasn't that bad in that one
like
picture.
2 in the morning after you've been drinking? I mean, come on.
I agree. I totally agree.
She's twice as good as anything a Pledge thing Bill Clinton got.
Hey, he did not have sexual affairs with that woman.
Yeah, no, he didn't even finish. That's a man for you.
Patino sure did.
How do you give up?
Patino sure did. I was looking at your Facebook page.
Yeah, he finished.
I was actually looking at your Facebook page, and I was looking through your pictures, and you have something on there, Patino, on one of the, I think it's the Sean Penn or Sean Connery movie. Oh, gosh, what was it? I'll find it in a minute. It was great. It was talking about him finishing fast.
Oh, gone in 60 seconds or gone in 15 seconds?
Gone in 15 seconds. I never saw that.
Yeah, UK fans love to tag me and that stuff, and I'm a good sport, so I don't ever take my name off and I leave it on there. I knew that joke was a good one. I would have come up with that too if I hated Patino. If it was something with Kentucky's coach, I accept any good joke as long as it's not stupid. I'll accept it, even if it's against my team, which I love. I mean that's just good humor, and that's what you get. I mean that's what the hate of a rivalry is all about.
Exactly.
You should hate and make fun of them. Exactly. I hate Kentucky. I mean, I'm going to make fun of them, but it doesn't mean I don't respect them. Doesn't mean I don't accept a good joke.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the rivalry has to stand strong. So for the ones that say, oh, all the talking, like last week with the Ripatino and the cow bashing at each other, little small love shots. That's great for the rivalry.
Yeah, love it. I mean, I've said this on the air, and I still stand by it. Find me another rivalry where not only the fans hate each other, because you'll find that everywhere, but find me one where the two coaches just freaking despise each other. And they do, and I love that, because not only do I think it does bring this rivalry up to more of a national ahead of Duke, North Carolina, and Vitale sucking on all their freaking Tar Heel balls and shit, and it drives me nuts. It might not beat that because ESPN wants them to be number one. But nationally, other than that, it brings us up and it should let everybody know that this rivalry is as big and if not bigger than anything else in sports, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, actually. How many, as we're doing here, a smaller grassroots type of radio show, go to North Carolina and, that area. How many radio shows are talking sports, 24/7, about their local programs? There's none.
No, I mean, I'm sure they love their sports. I haven't been to every city, and I think Texas, there's probably parts of Texas, Oklahoma, where football's so big, but in football, and this basketball rivalry might not surpass maybe like Alabama, Auburn at that point, but in terms of college basketball, I really truly believe it's the best rivalry. It's better than North Carolina Duke than any other rivalry in this nation. I no doubt in my mind to make that argument, and I think I stand a very good argument to make. It is. That's a great rivalry. I mean, there's other great rivalries, but the hatred, like I said, between the fans, like you say, the talk. I mean, nonstop. I mean, they would rather talk about recruiting during the summer than any other sport. I mean, where else do you see that kind of recruiting talk, especially in Kentucky side? And I can't stand recruiting talk. I suck at it. And it's so big now that I almost have to know about it to even be relevant in our business.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of recruits, in town this weekend, going to Big Blue Madness. There was a couple, number one player in the class for 2013 was at Louisville, I think, last week or so.
Parker. Yeah.
It's one of the bigger things around college basketball nowadays, with the way the internet sites and, it's just blown up.
I don't get into that the YouTube videos and watch. I'm not going to learn. You're going to see a certain degree of how good a kid is. You can tell. You can watch a kid like Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis know how good he is. But how am I supposed to know? I'm not going to really judge him by watching him go against a bunch of 5'10" white kids from from KCD-like school. No offense if you went there. I went to Wagner. Trust me, we freaking suck at everything. And I made the varsity basketball team, and I still weigh about the same as what I did then. So but I don't get that. I'm going to take it for a grain of salt and for what it's worth. The YouTube videos, they're highlight reels. That alone tells you what you're going to see.
It's more of a hype machine.
I want to see the guy playing good defense. I want to see good on-ball defense, help defense, weak side shot blocking, setting picks, boxing out. I'll never forget when the Warrior White game, Smarto's freshman year, I got ripped when I did the show with Jody Demlin and Matt Jones, Sports Night over on the old ticket. I got ripped by UofL fans for saying how Smarto Sam just doesn't block out. He's not a very good rebounder. He's slow of foot defensively. They ripped me. You're freaking high and crazy. He had 38 points and 72 rebounds, whatever the fuck he put up. Some ungodly numbers. I don't care about that. I've sat there and watched him play and could tell all the talents he had. And as soon as you saw him in regular competition against real athletes, you saw those problems come to light, and it was more evident, and I just kind of stepped back and was like,
You probably were high, though, right?
Say what?
You probably were high, though, right?
Oh, I was. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I was awake. But it doesn't mean I still can't judge basketball. I've been able to grade basketball kids almost 20 years it takes. I think I got it down to a science.
And Trevor, I know, again, we got Trevor Kelsey on here, 1450 The Sports Buzz, the new 24/7 radio station here in the Louisville area, which is great. 1450 thesportsbuzz.com, is that right?
Yeah, thesportsbuzz.com. Yeah, we got streaming live up there. We got great blog posts on there. I know you guys are always contributing stuff over there, which I love because I'm the most illiterate person in the world. I can't write worth a shit, and I do. It's always horrible grammar. You can't tell by me talking right now.
Because you were high.
Or bad spelling.
There's some grammar.
Can we put that song on because I got high? No.
There's some grammar errors, but I've read some good articles by you, Bacon. Don't sell yourself short. I have. A little bit of grammar errors.
You get my point, but I guarantee you would make an English teacher put a gun in their mouth.
Yeah.
If you look, I mean, I don't know where the hell a period and a I'm horrible at that shit. I took 3 years, I think, of freshman English at WKU. By the time I left, I was still getting 0 levels credit.
Now, I was talking to Matt the other day. He was texting me about your all show. You're coming on. Oh, is Renshaw and you going to do a kind of like a satellite show at a local bars anytime soon? I think that's what he mentioned.
Hopefully, yeah. We're going to be doing some remotes like we used to back in the day. I don't know where and when. He's supposed to. What we're hoping to is him to come in town. Excuse me, about once a month and doing a remote from a bar or something. Which, by the way, you have to come out and see because it's an experience that you just can't understand. Me telling you the stories on the air or him telling you the stories. You have to be there. I mean, and witness it because. When he gets about 10 or 12 beers into him, and that's only going to take about 15 minutes. I mean, he's a trip. I don't drink. I got enough vices in my life between Taco Bell, pot, and everything else, and White Castle 3 in the morning. I don't need another vice. I'll smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. Alcohol is just I'll be done by 40 if I start drinking alcohol too.
Yeah, I imagine with you.
He's a hoot. One time we were there, I think he got so hammered and I couldn't find him. I lost him for about an hour, and that used to be part of my job. The producer, Dugan Ryan would tell me, I want you to keep an eye on him. Make sure he gets home safe, basically. And I couldn't find him, and I started looking. I thought, oh, God, I've been lost, and he's ended up who knows where. I mean, he's probably with some $15 2-for-1, or doing something off her ass or something. And then, lo and behold, I find him finally in the manager's room, the office, in the back of this place. He's sitting there in his boxer shorts playing air guitar to like Bruce Springsteen or something. I mean, no clothes cannot be found. God knows where they are.
I'm going to ask him about that. I think he's going to come on next week. I got to bring that one up to him.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ask him about being at Jocks and finding him playing air guitar with his boxers on. Oh yeah.
And Trevor,
he's got the stories. He might not remember. I have to remind him about them. But he knows that I'm not exaggerating because he's fully aware of what he's capable of.
Trevor, I do know that you're a big NBA guy, and that's where a vast majority of your knowledge lays, correct?
Yeah, college basketball and NBA. I grew up loving my 2 favorite things growing up. Mostly were this is pretty not much on sport, but it's wrestling and NBA. Those are the 2 things I first loved, and followed by college basketball as I got a little older. But NBA in the early even as far my earliest memories of sports are those 2 things. Watching, early Sixers. I used to be a big Sixers fan with Barkley and the Boston Strangler, Andrew Toney, and I was big into the late '80s and Magic and Lake Show. I didn't have a real favorite team until I was about 12 years old. I officially picked the Pacers, and I've been with them ever since. But I love the NBA in general and still hate the Knicks.
You hate the Knicks? What?
I despise the Knicks. That's one team I'll never be on a video game with the Knicks. Refuse to ever be on.
You'll never play with George?
Against the Pacers.
You'll never play with George?
With who?
George.
No.
Come on.
No. I'll trade for him and use him on the game. I don't do that. I'm not like that. I won't he's a UK player. But if he's on the Knicks team roster, nope. Sorry. Nope. I can't do it.
It's a bold statement.
I hate
a bold statement. Not a lot of Knicks fans around.
It'll never be the Knicks on NBA Live. That is...
Nope.
Wow.
Won't be the Cowboys on Madden either.
All right.
Yeah, Tony Romo throws way too many interceptions just like real life.
Oh, God, don't even get me started. I'm an Eagles fan, man. Dallas and UK, in terms of my hatred,
you're an Eagles fan?
Rivals are 1 and 2. Yes, sir. Oh, diehard.
What happened to your beloved Eagles? I mean, they in the offseason, they brought in so much talent. What's going on over there in Philly?
It was it was great for the headlines. I mean, you bring in Osmo, and I loved the headline, but I knew you're bringing in a guy who is a press coverage guy, great at press coverage man-to-man, and you're putting him across Asante Samuel, who can't guard anyone man-to-man. He sucks man-to-man because he tackles. I mean, he makes freaking Deion Sanders look like Ronnie Lott tackling a ball carrier. It's horrible. And he's a zone guy with a knack to get into the ball and get interceptions, which he's done well. And now you're just trying to make one of the two play what they're not good at. And between that, our safeties are horrible. They should never let Quentin Michael go to the Rams. And the linebackers have never been good. I've never seen a linebacking core in my lifetime until that was any good. Even when Jeremiah Trotter was making the Pro Bowls, they weren't still that good. He was more of a product of the system. And Jim Johnson, another one who's passed, God, I wish he was still alive coaching his defense. If he was coaching his defense, I'm telling you right now, this team would be undefeated. They would be going undefeated for the whole season, and it would be wearing a ring. I'd be getting that Eagles tattoo because I've always said I don't have a tattoo. But whoever wins the title first, UofL or Philly, I'm getting that tattoo.
Are you going to get a big L on the side of your neck?
You're not telling us where, huh?
No, because it won't be where I can see it. God knows it'll probably have no stretch marks on it again anyway. It's very had the tattoo. Don't know it.
That I don't even think anybody wants to see it. You have to take a picture though, and post on the website. It scares the people.
You don't want to see that, trust me.
Not to bounce around
the women I sleep with don't even want to see it.
Not to bounce around topics here on you, Bacon, but what do you think? What do you think about Cal's comments saying that he, if UK were to win a national championship, and he sticks to it, that if UK wins a national championship, nobody goes to the pros. What do you think of that whole concept? He would be disappointed in that. How do you feel about that?
I mean, he's a car salesman. He's selling to recruits. He is selling to recruits and kind of putting the recruits a little bit ahead of the alumni who won a national title and the fans won a national title. But he's also thinking in the back of his mind of what he's going to tell them. If he hasn't said it publicly, he'll sell them privately. They're going to go hand in hand. 99% of the time, if you're going to produce five guys in the first round, unless you do choke pathetically against the Bobby Huggins-led team like they did,
or Murray State. Morehead State.
I mean, that was just out-coached. That was just pathetic. There was no reason why they should have lost to West Virginia. I mean, they just got out-coached and outplayed. And he knows it. And it happens. I mean, you can't be perfect. But, I mean, unless you're the 76 Hoosiers. You're not going to be perfect. And then you're going to have, he wants these kids, because these kids now, I mean, they don't have no loyalty as much to the school as I want them to. Look at the conferences. Why should they? Look at the way they're jumping around. Loyalty. There's no such thing as loyalty anymore. I mean, the fans are loyal, but that's about it. I mean, and he knows that these kids, their main goal is to get in the NBA. So why not? It's just like when he said the draft. This is the greatest day in Kentucky sports history. Yeah, it made a lot of UK fans mad because they know the tradition and they know the history. And of course, it was nowhere near that. But that is on national television. This is going to be nationally talked about, and the recruits see that and hear that, and they go, you know what? This guy's going to put me in the NBA. He's going to get me $12 million. He's going to get me $12 million here, $13 million, or whatever the hell these kids make nowadays. He's gonna get me that money. If I just get a ring and I don't go to the NBA, what's that gonna get me? $36,000 or whatever Terrell Pryor sold his for? I mean, that's not gonna get me 6 Mercedeses and a mouthful of gold teeth. So he wants that. That's who he's selling it to right there is the recruits, and that's smart. And that's why he's getting the recruiting classes he's getting. That's what, other than maybe other reasons I like to make fun of him for as a UofL fan, but I won't say that right now.
Sounds like a pretty fair take.
Say what?
Sounds like a pretty fair take you have on it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why he said it. I can see where I don't think he really meant for. I mean, of course he wants a national title. He's more than anything because he hates Pitino, and he sickens him that Pitino's got the one ring that he doesn't. He wants 2 rings so he can rub it in Pitino's face and then go to the NBA.
He's envious,
and then
right?
Be successful there.
As Bozic would say, he envies Rick Pitino.
Well, he doesn't. I don't know if it's envy. I still don't know exactly. He resembles him. I mean, he is Pitino, what Pitino was in the early '90s in the UK.
We talked about
He's
that
exactly like Pitino. You look at his track record and his career. I mean, it's very similar to Pitino's in terms of going to the pro after having success in college, even though he didn't have as much as Pitino did. But he kind of did. If you compare it to the beginning of Pitino's career, Pitino went to one Final Four Providence and went to the Knicks where he was successful. He didn't get along with Stu Jackson, which I can't say Stu Jackson's a freaking moron. And then he came back to Kentucky and it was successful there before going back to the NBA, where he wanted to be successful. He's not going to go back to the NBA now. He's done, and he's got about 3 or 4 more years left in him at Louisville before he's done completely. Cal's going to be here for at least until he wins the title. And that's going to be a double-edged sword for UK fans, because if he wins it this year, does he jump right away? I mean, is that what you want? Is it worth the gold? I mean, it's like, if you're going to get laid, you're going to buy, a hot supermodel, but she's going to give you craps. Is it worth it?
Age-old question.
He goes away in a week, and you get a little home.
Yeah, before we do wrap up, Bacon, real quick, where will Louisville end up with all this conference realignment talk?
Big 12, it's done.
Big 12?
It's inevitable. Yeah.
Does
Howard Snowberg said, the only variable is time. It's done.
Will that push Riputino out quicker?
Nah, he wants to. It depends. What's going to push Riputino? It'll edge a little bit, but if he gets talent there and starts getting some good recruits, I don't know what kind of good recruits we're going to get, because this class has gone from being a top-notch class to who knows when Blackshear is going to play now. Zach Price, I think, is overrated, and Shane Bohannon's not in shape to play major minutes in college basketball. I don't care what people tell you. He's 15 minutes at most, and he'll give you a good 10, 15 minutes, but that's all he's going to give you. It's going to be. I don't even know if this team's really a top 10 team. I hope they are, but I don't know. I'm worried about it.
Bacon's playing the Riputino card right here. Downplaying the season. Now when they come out and they win these games and sweep UConn like Dugan was all proud about before the show, or Ryan, you're playing the card.
I'm not one of those guys like, I hate to do that. Oh, we suck. We're never going to beat anybody. And they do it just to double jinx themselves, back around. No, I'm just a pessimistic when it comes. I was the same way with Kevin Ware's eligibility. I just until I see us play and see how Bohannon's going to look at a high college level, and see how much Steve has progressed, because I know still defensively he's so bad. I wouldn't say bad, but so behind defensively. And that just really affects his offense. And if Kurt can be, a little more consistent, if he's able to learn how to take the ball off the dribble and be kind of a poor man's Gordon Hayward, and have that, and Gorgie Dane take steps forward, then I'll be more positive about the season. But until I see that in my face, and I'm not talking red-white game, because again, I've told you I don't follow that. That's just a highlight reel anyway. I don't read too much into that crap. So I see it in a real game, and I'm thinking more of even just Butler. In that first game, I think it's the 4th game overall, but the first real game they play, then I'll be, whether I'm being optimistic or pessimistic for the rest of the season, I'll know what to look forward to.
Well, Bacon, we really appreciate having you on. Great insight, and we hope that you will join us again for sure.
Anytime, guys. I got nothing to do till 10 o'clock when Always Sunny in Philadelphia comes on.
Yeah, that is tonight, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but DVR, don't worry. I DVR community while I was talking to you, so I'm good.
All right, man. Well, have a great night, Bacon. Thanks a lot. And to the rest
No problem, guys. Anytime. Y'all be good.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
And just so everybody knows, you can catch Bacon, Trevor Kelsey on 1450 AM Sports with John Renshaw from 3 to 5 in the afternoons.
Yep, and stream online at 1450thesportsbuzz.com. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to come right back just for a couple minutes, and we're going to close the show out. So we'll be right back.
I'm Kelly Patrick with KentuckySports.co radio show in partnership with LouisvilleSportsBuzz.com. Around here we've got Big Blue Nation, big races at the horse tracks, big rivalries. We've got big arenas with big name coaches. Being realistic, a lot of times we end up with big women. But there are some things that we prefer to be smaller, like the price we pay at local restaurants, or what it costs to play 18 holes, or to even have your hair cut. At LouisvilleBigDeals.com, you'll get a big deal and a small price to some of the best restaurants and businesses in the Louisville area. So jump online and visit LouisvilleBigDeals.com and tell them Kelly Patrick sent you.
KentuckySports.co radio show, your #1 source for sports news and information. All UK sports, UofL, at KentuckySports.co.
No, I'm not a well-decorated sea captain who battles monsters on a large nautical vessel, but thanks to Old Spice, I smell like I am. No, I don't have 14 well-oiled abs or endless gold treasures pouring from my pants.
Don't tell my nose that.
Back with the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We're just going to make this a quick little segment. For you UK and Louisville fans that are listening, tomorrow is a big day around the Bluegrass with the red-white scrimmage.
Yep.
And the Big Blue Madness, of course. Me and Matt will be at Big Blue Madness. John,
I will be at red-white scrimmage.
John will be at the red-white scrimmage. So if you see either of us, come say hey. It's going to be a fun night.
I'm Kelly Patrick with KentuckySports.co radio show.
Basketball
in partnership.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best time of the year.
You can
in
feel
my
it.
opinion.
I feel it. You're so nervous you're puking.
Exactly. I took a break and I threw up because basketball season's here.
Missed the Derek Abney interview. So you could throw up.
I got nervous, dude. I break down. I don't know. I think it was the stiffy alcoholic beverage that your wife poured out.
Yeah, she shouldn't have done that.
I know. But yeah, once again, what time is it?
7 o'clock. It's gonna be on WHAS, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. And the same thing. Big Blue Madness begins at 7, and will air. Both will air a little bit on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little segment through there, and then Kentucky will be on multiple channels throughout the state. I can't remember the listing, and we'll be in Louisville for the Kentucky fans in the area. And other than that, let's see if you didn't. I just want to say this. I know Matt was watching it. I don't know if you caught it. Did you see Fareed in the Big Blue All-Star game at Union?
No.
Okay, he's a beast. He did a windmill dunk. That's every day. But then he threw under the legs down, and then the freak oop from Rondo.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Over his head dunk.
Rondo. It was better on Rondo's part, but it's also great on Fareed's part that he anticipated that happening.
Yeah.
They obviously have some sort of chemistry there, but Fareed's going to be a beast in the NBA.
Now, John, being a Louisville fan and Fareed, is he the most hated Louisville player ever?
No.
I mean, he knocked you out of the tournament single-handedly.
Single-handedly, he did. Well, we helped. We played like crap.
I agree. You did help.
We acted like we were playing the first game of the season.
Yep. Well, I guess we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Like to thanks Derek Abney for coming on. It's always nice to talk to a Kentucky great. And I'll thank
my
Trevor,
favorite of all time.
Your favorite?
Derek Abney. He's just so exciting to watch kick. His punt returns and his kick returns. Almost every time, he's almost like a Randall Cobb. Almost seems like every time he's going to get the ball, he's going to do something with it.
Mm-hmm. And then of course Trevor Kelsey, aka Bacon from 1450 AM radio, joined us as well. We'd like to thank him. And John, anything else?
No.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up. And remember, you can catch us every Thursday night, Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. Get on the website. It's KentuckySports.co. Check it out. A lot of great information. And if you're really missing us for the next week, give us a text. We do have a text line, and that number is 502-6159.
No, 502-265-6159.
502-265-6159. Yeah, give us a text. Give us a little business, UKville. This is Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show.